Good afternoon. My name is Hamam Towodzwa, and I'm going to take you for information technology today. And we are still looking at system technology and basically software. And for today, by the end of the lesson, you are expected to be able to identify the effects of hardware needs on cloud computing. Number two, to explain what SaaS is in full, software as a service. And then number three, to identify the risks and benefits of cloud computing. How cloud computing affects hardware, right? We need to look at it in terms of the infrastructure presented before you on the slide. This is a complex, a data center with a number of servers, and the hardware that is there, if you are to think of in terms of costs, it's very, very expensive. And this hardware, it includes servers, software, storage, networking, and adequate cooling. And also, you need to think of access control. This can be expensive to set up and maintain a structure, a data center like this. And then most businesses these days are moving the support and administration of servers to the cloud, as cloud servers are available anywhere as long as there is internet connection. These servers as well, we can consider them as virtual, because businesses, they do not own the structure and the infrastructure. They know they save their data, information on these servers. They know it's somewhere there in the cloud, and they don't even worry about maintaining them. What they worry is only how to access the information that they save on these servers. Right, how does cloud computing affect hardware needs? Right, we are moving from a situation where companies and individuals depend on local hardware. So you will see local hardware needs less storage and processing power. And then all these functions, that is storage and processing power, are being transferred to resources over the internet. But for this type of computing to function well, there is need for a fast, stable, reliable broadband connection. For companies to enjoy the benefits of cloud computing, they need a fast, stable, and reliable internet connection. Therefore, for the companies, they pay less for hardware. But when it comes to the running costs, if we look at the internet, at the data that is needed, then the costs are higher. So as individuals and companies move from local-based computing services to cloud computing services, the impact is on the cost, on the amount of money that is going to be spent in terms of data. We are discussing on cloud computing. So it's only as a perception and is not real. The user sees the effect rather than the virtualization itself. What does this mean? If you are running your company based on cloud computing, what you see is whatever you get from the internet, or you are looking at your browser. You are saving your information based on the browser. But you don't see the server itself. You don't see the hardware where that information is. So that's where the virtual part comes into play. So you see the effects when you start to query the data that is saved somewhere there in the cloud, and then you simply get the results. With cloud computing, mostly it relies on virtualization technologies, and then companies that provide these services, there are two ways: that they split the resources of powerful machines between multiple users, or they combine the resources of many machines to create a super powerful service that can appear to be a single machine. So powerful servers can be combined virtually into one very powerful, or what we can call a super powerful computer. Often, sometimes, these companies, they do both depending on the customer needs. So either they can split or they can combine. It depends on what the user needs. We look at software as a service, and in short, it's SaaS. SaaS is where you rent. We can say you rent software instead of buying a license to use it forever. Let's look at Office 2019 as an example. You buy a license to use it, and you install it on your computer. Whereas with cloud-based computers, computing services, you pay a rental fee. So you do not get a license as such, but you pay a rental fee to use the service. So this type of software, SaaS, refers to applications that are hosted on the cloud and that users pay a monthly subscription fee to access. If we look at the business model, it's we can say more about how you pay for the software than with the software itself. You are not going to get a software and install it on your computer, but you pay to access the software virtually. Then also SaaS means you can use the latest version of a program for as long as you pay a monthly subscription fee. So you don't even have to worry about updating the software on your computer, even on your devices. Remember, the advantages of SaaS, of cloud-based computers, is you can access the services from any device, from any operating system. They are not operating system specific. So you can open it from your mobile device, from your phone, from your tablet, from the PC, without the need to update the operating system. There are also these programs, most of them, these software programs, they run from remote servers as compared to programs that run from a local computer. And we have to do monthly or yearly payments so that you can access and use the product. And then you don't need to install any software on your computer. And for you to use it, you must be connected to the internet always. And then if you stop paying the access fees, then the you won't be able to access the app. Then we have also, we can say, downloadable locally installed apps. These ones can be downloaded and runs on the local computer. As an example, we have Adobe Creative Cloud. What you simply need to do is to pay for the service, and then it gives you access to all the programs like InDesign, Photoshop, and all the other programs under Adobe that are used for development purposes, like web development, such as Dreamweaver. So what you simply need to do is to pay the fee, and then you have full access. Now you need to install the software and then download and install updates. That is for the downloaded version, as compared to the cloud-based. The cloud-based, you don't have to do updates. It's done automatically on the server where the application is hosted. Whereas if it's downloadable, then you have to install updates. And you do not need internet connection to use the software. Data can be stored locally as well as also on the cloud. And then it's cheaper than buying software. So if you decide to use Adobe Creative Cloud, you may discover that it's cheaper than buying the software, because if you decide to buy, then you are going to have licenses for each and every product under the software package. Whereas if you decide to use it as SaaS, even though it's downloadable, you pay for the access fee. You are not paying for the software itself. And if you stop paying rent, same as cloud computing, then the software stops working. We look at integrated products, which is, we can say, combine cloud-based software and locally installed software. So that's integrating local-based and cloud-based. And as an example, we have Office 365. And for you to use this one, you subscribe as well. Right, so this install, you need to install the Office application on up to 5 computers. It gives you up to 5 computers, the license that you get. It could be mobile devices. You will be able to access Word. You will be able to access Excel, Outlook, and any other product that comes under Office 365. So if you are installing on mobile devices, it's 5 tablets as well. And then you can use cloud versions of Office on any computer with a browser. So you can install on your device as well as you can access the programs through the web browser. Access to cloud-based also helps you to save your documents on the cloud. What is the advantage of that? It means your information is accessible from any device that is able to connect to the internet, and you are able to open it from anywhere around the world. Another advantage of SaaS, we can look at in gaming. And then this concept, massively multiplayer online role-playing games, then which is MMORPG. This one shows that games too can use the SaaS model. Now, this software is downloaded and runs on your local computer, but you play it online. So we have this example of games such as Warcraft, Minecraft, Pocket Legends. So these games are installed on a local machine, but for the user to play them, the user needs internet connection, and then they are played online. Advantages of this model of computing system. Number one, you don't have to worry about setup, so minimal setup required. You don't have to worry about large sums of money, capital. You only need a minimum to set it up. And basically you need data, right? Software is updated automatically on the cloud computers. You don't have to worry about updates. Number four, if there are new features, they are added regularly. And then also this type of software can be used from any computer with an internet connection. So what is needed is internet connection only. Then the software can be accessed. But remember, with cloud computing, you rent computer services rather than own them. You can pay a lot, you are not buying the hardware, but you are just renting. So it's virtual. What you see are the results, but you cannot see the hardware, the devices. Even though there are several advantages for SaaS, there are also risks that can be encountered. So number one, we can say you are relying mostly on the service provider. So for you to stay in business, at least there is need for the service provider to give you warning if there is a problem. So if there's a problem with the server in the cloud there, if the owners do not warn you, then you risk losing business. And then you as a user, you need to follow good security and data integrity practices as a user. You need to be able to make use of strong passwords and not to lose the usernames and passwords to people who can end up stealing your data and information. You need also to follow good backup policies in case there is a disaster. You need to be able to, it's in fact, mostly it's part of the company that is providing the service. And then not oversell their products. And then that is, they shouldn't have more, maybe we can say more customers, because sometimes the servers or the resources won't be able to handle the requests. And the other risk is these resources are only available if, number one, you have a good internet connection. Like for you to use cloud computing, as we said earlier, there is need for mobile broadband. There is need for fiber optic connection, and you need good speed. The providing company exists and you keep paying the rent. Then you need a service level agreement, and it's a must. so that when one party provides, this one is needed when one party provides a service to another party. So you need, for you to make use of a SaaS, you need a service level agreement. Now, there are risks, but there are also benefits. Number one, we can talk of scalability, which is the ability to increase or decrease in size and power automatically. So this one, it depends on your usage. But the more the size or the more the storage size that you want, then the more the money you have to pay. And also, you will see usage is monitored. So may pay more for higher usage patterns. So the more you use, then the more you are going to be charged. Then we have ubiquity. Resources and services are everywhere and not limited by time or location. So if you are using SaaS, using cloud computing, you are not restricted by borders. You can be anywhere. As long as you have your device and you have an internet connection, you are able to access the resources. And also one of the benefits is collaboration, which means multiple people can access it at the same time, at once. You can share a document with anyone who has internet access and access to the document, and you can collaborate. You can also outsource, outsource hardware, and then there is less worry for you to buy the hardware. And there is also, you don't have to worry about maintaining and upgrading the computers. And then in terms of money, we can say money, then you save on hardware costs and even on support. You don't have to worry about a hardware device that has malfunctioned. So you save money in terms of hardware as well as support. Then in terms of software, installation and upgrades take place on the server managed by the service provider. You don't have to worry about installing the software, installing the upgrades. It's the server owner who can do that. And you simply have to pay and you use the services. Now we can just go through some of the questions that we get from the ebook to recap. Specifically chapter 6, and then that is activity 6.1. Right, the first question that we are discussing is list the advantages of cloud computing, the advantages that it offers to the users. Number one, scalability. What does this mean? The capacity of the virtual, we can say of your virtual machine, will grow automatically as your requirements increase. So the more the data you want to use, then automatically the server will scale it up, but with also costing going up, the rental costs, they also go up. So the more the data you use, the more the cost as well. And then we can say it's affordable. So a single virtual machine is, we can say, in terms of affordability, it's affordable, that is a single virtual machine. And it only becomes expensive once you need to rent large numbers of virtual machines. So if it's one, then it's fine. But the more the number of virtual machines you want to rent, then it becomes expensive. Number three, we can say it's reliable. Many cloud computing companies guarantee that the machine will always be available, will always be online, such that whenever you want to have access to your data, you are able to do so. So it's always online. Number four, the other advantage is it's fast. Cloud computers and the internet connection to these computers can be very, very fast. They are well maintained. Servers also used for cloud computing are maintained by experts who ensure they continue running efficiently. So they are looking at efficiency. So they make sure that they employ experts so that these experts can maintain these machines and that the machines can run efficiently. Question number two, explain in your own words what SaaS is. These are questions that come in theory exams, and then they are trying to test, but mostly they are given under a scenario. So SaaS, that is software as a service, refers to applications that are hosted on the cloud and that users pay a monthly subscription fee. Sometimes in exams, as students, you may decide to say, okay, it's software as a service. That's not explaining. So you need to explain what it is in terms of where it's, in fact, in terms of what it is, which is it's an application, and is it hosted locally or on the cloud? So you need to be able to distinguish between the two. So SaaS, it's not hosted locally, but on the cloud. And for the user to have access, the user needs to pay a monthly subscription fee. 5B, besides Office 365, give two examples of SaaS software as a service. Right, we can think of for in the entertainment industry, programs like Netflix, it's SaaS, you have to pay to access the movies. And then regarding Office 365, it's to increase productivity, working with documents, working with, we can say, spreadsheets, presentations, e-communication, so that's increase productivity, or improve communication. If, for instance, you can mention Skype for VoIP, voice over internet protocol, and then also Slack can be mentioned. What software, that is C, what software do you need to have installed to use SaaS? Right, with this one, it might be tricky when you are answering it in an exam, because it requires a software type of, or we can say software that is needed to have software as a service installed on a device. So if you look at the devices, for instance, mobile devices, some of them could be having an iOS operating system, some Android, and then if you look at maybe PCs, some could be Mac OS, and then some Windows, but the application runs on any of them. So what type of software is needed for you to access these programs. It's only a web browser. So web browsers, it could be Edge, it could be Chrome, it could be Internet Explorer, it could be Safari. A browser is the only software that is needed for you to access these programs. And then lastly, what are 3 advantages for a company to use SaaS over a normal software application? There are several advantages that we have there. Number 1, we can say no to minimal setup fees, maybe minimum setup fees. Then software is updated automatically on the cloud. You don't have to worry about updating it, right? So if there are new features, they are added regularly. You don't have to worry about adding the features yourself. And then can be used from any computer with an internet connection. That's one of the advantages. So from any computer that has an internet connection, you are able to use these applications. And then lastly, easier to collaborate or share information with other users. So basically, these are the advantages that a company gets if it uses SaaS, as opposed to setting up its own hardware servers and also local based computing